Good evening, fight fans. This is AC Cooper from Eastwood Boxing UK. For the guys that are first listening and don't know the drill, Eastwood Boxing UK is in association with ThreeKingsBoxing.com. Okay, so guys, tonight we're going to review and preview the Scott Quigg and Oscar Valdez fight that is this Saturday in California for Valdez's WBO Featherweight title. Tonight I am joined by my regular guest and co-host and co-founder of ThreeKingsBoxing.com, and that is Willy the Kid. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, brother. I'm not too bad. I'm having a pretty good day, so it's all good. It is all good. Right, guys. As we said, so on Saturday night we're going to see Scott Quigg try and win a world title at a second weight. He is going in against a very proficient, very hard hitting Oscar Valdez. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Scott Quigg's chances, and then I'm going to let Willie jump in, and he's going to talk a little bit about Valdez. So I notice that a lot of people are writing off Scott Quigg. Whether you can rightly or wrongly do that, I don't know, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. So for me, Scott Quigg, he hasn't really been the same since his loss to Carl Frampton. That really hurt him. Obviously, since then, he's left the Gallagher gym where he was for his entire career. He's had a few fights under Freddie Roach. I've not really seen anything different to the way that Scott Quigg normally is. I don't think that
Well,
there's been any differences
well,
realistically.
Freddie Roach is more of an offensive coach, so he's not going to teach you the defensive side of it.
No, no. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, in all fairness, the opposition since he's gone up to featherweight hasn't been fantastic. I mean, he knocked out Jose Quinto in Manchester when he won the international featherweight, the WBA international featherweight title. Then he went and fought Varial Simon, and that was on the undercard of the Anthony Joshua fight. I was actually there live, and that fight stunk out the place. That really did. And then in
Yeah,
his last fight, in that last fight, he went over and fought in Monaco, and he went out and fought Oleg Yefimовich, and he stopped him in six, and that was a fight. Look, Yefimовich was actually pretty game. I mean, I remember watching the fight live. The thing with Quigg is that I mean, he's probably a bit too late in his career, and it's almost, I've got to say, it's almost like he's tailor made for Valdez. Quigg is very straightforward, hands held high, coming forward. He's got the one thing I will say about Scott Quigg is he's got a phenomenal work rate. He
yeah.
really has got a phenomenal. He's probably got, and I will go as far as to say this, he's probably got the best gas tank in British boxing. He really has. He will give you 12.
Probably in British boxing, yeah.
It's a British boxing, definitely. The only other guys I can think of are the McDonald twins, and those guys too. Those guys fight solidly for 12 rounds too. But he's very he seems to switch off quite a lot with his defense. I mean, we saw it in the fight against Yefimовich, whether he wasn't taking him seriously or not. Quick doesn't really use movement. He doesn't really use any angles. He goes very well to the body, and don't make no mistake about it, right? Scott Quick can punch. I promise you that he really can. But he does. He again, to take to Willie's point, Quigg's always been a very offensive fighter. He's in there with Freddie Roach right now, who is an offensively minded coach, and he's not really learning anything. So for me, I'm sort of worried, especially when you've got someone that like Oscar Valdez that come. I mean, Oscar Valdez. I mean, I'll give a quick take on him. For
You
me,
know, you wait. You know what's not gonna happen in this fight?
what's that?
Someone ducking.
No, you are certainly gonna get 12. Well, maybe 12 rounds. I mean, looking at it on the whole of things, you're looking at the physicality side of things. Quigg is the taller man. I mean, I think Valdez is about 5'5", 5'6". Quigg stands at 5'8", so he does have the height advantage. He definitely holds some power, but as I say, he can be really wild. He loves to work on the inside. He really does, and he does do great work to the body to slow down his opponents. Bear in mind, right, that people are thinking that Valdez is the puncher in this fight. Quigg stopped 11 of his last 13, right? And his only career loss was against Carl Frampton, who at one stage was in the pound for pound rankings. Obviously, he got stopped he got stopped in his tracks by Leo Santa Cruz. He is a pressure fighter, and he's quite relentless with his attack. So I really don't think that there's going to be I really don't think there's going to be a pause in the action because Valdez is very similar. But I will say one thing before I pass on to Willie to break Valdez down. If Valdez fights similar in the way that he has done in his last two fights, he could be in trouble because he can't afford to be passive and slow, and to take he could well take a beating if he starts slowly.
Right. Um. Okay, my turn, right?
Yep.
Good. Well, Valdez is one of those fighters. I don't like that style. You pretty much square up. You move straight forward. You let go of your hands, and you get into a war. So, with that said, I feel like he's right. He's going to be right there for the picking. I just don't think Quigg is going to be the guy to do it. I know you said Quigg is a hard puncher, and you're right, he is. But so is the guy he's facing. And I like this fight. I think it's going to be a phone booth fight. I think it's going to be a fan-friendly fight. Like, if you're one of those people that likes a barn burner, this is what that might turn into. I don't know. What time does it come on over there?
Well, it's at the StubHub Center in Carson, in California. So for us, I think the Sky Sports coverage
Like at
starts at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock in the morning?
2 o'clock in the morning, as usual.
Oh man. So you're gonna stay up?
Scott Quigg's one of my guys. I got to be honest. He's I was I was very much rooting for him in the Frampton fight.
I think
Um,
shit, you almost got it covered, I think.
yeah, yeah, it sounds like I do, doesn't it? It sounds like
Yeah, I
I
think
do.
there's another fight going on. So yeah, man, I like this fight. It's gonna be an exciting fight. It's I don't know. I'll pick Valdez to win this fight, but but Quigg does have a chance because I don't know how much you've seen of Valdez, but do you ever feel like he tends to play down to the opposition?
I'm not so sure he does.
So he gets hit a lot, and he's gonna hit you a lot. Uh, like I said, he's right there. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna make it a fight. I'm really looking forward to it. In a way because this is a step up for Valdez, in my opinion.
Well, it definitely is. I mean, if you go down both men's records, I mean, looking at you could make a case that the best boxer that Valdez has been in the ring with is probably Evgeny Gradovich. If you look at it, I mean, is Miguel Mariaga any better? No, I don't think so. Is Genesis Savinio any better? No. Matthias Rieder? No, not any better. So for me, this is definitely. I mean, don't forget Scott Quigg has mixed it at a pretty. I'd say I'm not going to say he's mixed it at an elite level because he hasn't. He
No.
simply hasn't. I mean, the best sort of the best win on Quigg's record is when he blew away Kiko Martinez in he broke away Kiko Martinez, I think, 2 rounds. That was back in 2015, but by then I think Martinez had already lost a couple of times and he was
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily on the slide. And then obviously the best opposition that he's been in against was Carl Frampton.
Kyle
Uh,
Frampton, yeah.
but equally, I mean, in that fight, I was talking about slow starts from Valdez. Quigg definitely can't afford to do the same thing because he started very slowly. Okay, there is.
I think in this fight coming up, the pace is gonna pick up after the third, fourth round.
I think so. There's going to be a feeling out process because I think both men are
Yes,
going to be wary of each other's power.
that's right.
I definitely think. Do I see an early knockout?
Mm.
Probably. Because I mean, look, you're looking at it. I mean, I know that Valdez got dropped in his last fight, but it was more he was caught square. I don't, he looked pretty badly hurt. Quigg hasn't been down since very early in his.
Well, Valdez tends to square up, so Quigg has to be able to take advantage of that. Can he still pull the trigger though?
I think he can. As I said, you don't stop. Okay, you're stepping up in class, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we know an awful lot about Valdez's chin because he hasn't been in against the top level guys with top level power. Um, but Quigg hasn't been dropped since he got dropped by Jamie Arthur. That was back in 2012. That was back when well, I wouldn't say he was a prospect. He was still at British level, but that was the last time I can recall seeing Scott Quigg hitting the canvas. So yeah, but then Quigg has a tendency to square up as well, especially when he's going on the ropes.
That's what
Um,
I'm telling you. This has the recipe to be a dynamic, like fan-friendly fight, man.
they're not. They're certainly not going to go looking for you. They're not going to have to look up to fight each other. That much is certain.
Nah,
That much is certain.
There's not going to be any lateral movement. There's going to be back and back and forward, back forward, back forward.
Yeah, if you guys want to watch any element of the sweet science, I probably suggest you go and watch Mikey Garcia. But who's probably
Yeah,
the best?
are you guys getting that fight?
I don't know. I don't think we are. Obviously Quigg is still promoted by Matchroom, so that's why
That's going to be on Sky, right?
that's going to be on Sky Sports. I don't know whether I don't know. I'm not sure whether Box Nation are going to pick up the Mikey Garcia fight. I'd like them to, obviously, because Mikey Garcia for me is one of the best boxer punchers in the world right now, if not the best. I can't think of many that are better than him.
He's very good maintaining position in the ring. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, these guys aren't going to have to search for each other. You're not good. This isn't going to be one for the sweet science. But equally, if you guys, as Willie said, if these guys do like if you do like a tear up, then this is certainly the fight of the weekend for you. Um, Obviously, the ramifications of for the winner could be potentially huge because there is a lot of rumors flying around. And I did overhear Callis Howland talking when I was at the George Groves Chris Eubank Jr. press conference. The next World Boxing Super Series could well be at 126. And
Yes.
if it's a 126, the ramifications, especially even if it's not, from a British standpoint, you've got the doors start to open because you've got the Lee Selby Josh Warrington winner. You've got Carl Frampton knocking about who takes on Nonito Donaire in Belfast next month. You've got Kit Galahad coming through the ranks at Matchroom, who's after he got banned for taking drugs. But he's back. He was on the undercard of the Kell Brook fight. He looks like a lively body, And then look further across to America. You've got Abner Mares and you've got Leo Santa Cruz, who for me is the best 126-pound fighter in the world. Unless Gary Russell Jr. decides to actually have a fucking fight.
Well, that tournament is going to be a little harder to make probably because of network issues, things like that. You got Santa Cruz, Mares facing each other already. So I don't know if any of those guys are going to be in it, man, on this side.
So for the listeners that are there, so Russell Jr. is promoted. He's a Heyman guy, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other two, Santa Cruz and Mares, are they Showtime?
They're all three guys at Showtime.
All three guys at Showtime. So surely it wouldn't be that would it be that difficult to make if
depends who else is in it.
Well, presumably you'd expect that it might be the three of them, and then
all right, like you got Valdez. Valdez is top ranked, so he fights on ESPN.
So from a purely network standpoint, you want Scott Quigg to be the victor just so we can it makes the tournament a little easier.
No, I'm really I like Valdez in this fight. It's just he's the fresher fighter in my opinion. So
Quigg hasn't really been in that many wars.
I don't like him. I haven't liked him since the Frampton fight, man.
Well, he's very simplistic in what he does. I mean, there's not a fantastic amount of.
But it's almost like that fight took something out of him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Mentally, I think it did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't get me wrong. I still have this fight like a 60-40. It's not like I have it because, like I told you before, I feel like Valdez is there for the pickings. It's Quigg the man to do it, though.
I think he's an accident waiting to happen, and if you've got a guy like Scott Quigg that's stuck in front of you,
you're a Scott Quigg guy, so.
Well, but I am, but equally, I mean, social media is just a wash with this is an easy fucking fight for Valdez. I'm sorry, you don't become a world champion if you're no good. Simple.
Yeah. Well, it might be an easy fight for him. It could be an easy fight or it could be a hard fight. The choice is going to be on him. Depends what he does. If he could actually try to box, he could probably make it easy with his power. But I know for a fact that he's going to bite down. And this is going to be a probably fought on the inside.
Well, no, I think it's definitely going to be fought on the inside because Scott Quigg only really has one mentality. I mean, he went up against a decent, let's be fair, Frampton's world class. He went up against a world-class boxer and he lost.
Because Valdez tries to be disciplined, but then gets drawn into the war. You know what I mean? So can he stay disciplined? That's the key.
I liken Valdez a lot to fighters like Scott Quigg, like Sullivan Barrera. That you know, that technically they're actually pretty, you know, they're actually pretty good. They're pretty sound fighters technically, but they just can't help themselves. They can't. They just cannot help themselves. And the second a meaty shot goes in, it's like, well, fuck this. If you're going to do that, I'm going to do this. Let's stand chest to chest and let's have. And that I think that fight is.
This oh man, that's a name that escapes me right now of a guy that's just like that too. Couple names actually, man.
Oh, there's a hell of a lot of them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's a hell of a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying, do you know what? I'm actually going for Quigg for the upset. Not just because I just genuinely think that Valdez is an accident waiting to happen.
This is why we Eastwick UK over here. It's okay for you to pick Scott Quigg. I understand that. It's actually not a bad pick. I'll be looking for your pick'em. In the pick'em league, who you pick?
It's already been done, and if you notice, Quigg's in capital letters.
Capital letters.
Just to make it that obvious that I'm picking Scott Quigg.
Oh shit! He used the caps lock.
I did. I mean, I went caps lock mad on that shit. I really did. But no, it's you know, it just winds me up a little bit that people are making this sort of.
It's kind of going under the radar too over here, man, because of the other fight. So
It's not you know, Scott Quigg isn't a big name in America as much as he trains. As much as he trains, you know, he's not a big name at all. As much as
how many fights he's had with Roach now? 2 or 3?
This will be his third.
So this is going to be his third fight, right? So yeah, I mean, and is this his first fight over here?
Mm-hmm.
So
he's only in 30. Well, this will be his 37th fight.
And it's going to be at the Stub Hub, so he's going into a very hostile territory. There's a lot of Mexicans down there.
And he hasn't got a massive following over here either. He's not like a not even because Joshua would be a silly.
Oh, but if Valdez was coming, well, that's probably why the fight is in America, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, obviously he's the champion, so Scott Quigg's got to try. One thing I will say actually for Oscar Valdez is that Scott Quigg was not a mandatory, right? Valdez chose to fight Scott Quigg, and I've got to give him a lot of credit for that because. Like as we've talked about on this channel, Quigg isn't he's not an easy voluntary. This guy is a world-class operator.
I think this fight it could play out 2 ways, man. I know it sounds fucked up, but it could either be easy work or it could be an interesting fight. It could get interesting. I think it'll go past 7 rounds. But if Quigg stands in there and takes too much punishment too, man, this could be an early night.
I think, do you know what? I'm going to say it works both ways.
See, I just like Valdez's power more than I like Quigg's power.
I do, but what about the chin? You know, if you look at the guy that Valdez was in against previously, what was his name? That was the Genevis Savania. And he got dropped, I think it was in the 4th round. That guy had sort of 30-something fights and only sort of 13 knockouts. So he wasn't a massive puncher.
No.
And he got dropped. I think that a lot of this, and we've just touched on this, is if one of these guys catches somebody square, because both of these guys like to square up, I think you could see one-on-one knockdowns in this fight before the fight's over.
Who you think if need be the case could box better?
It's got to be Valdez.
Exactly. So I think so you know they're gonna slug it out, but Quigg has to be careful while they're during that filling out period.
I think so. He could end up walking onto a shot.
Exactly.
Because Quigg, as I said, because Quigg is so offensively minded, he is prone to walking into traps. He's prone to walking into traps.
Yeah,
and it depends how well Valdez can set those traps up.
Well, that's like I told you, I feel like he's there for the pickings. It's just a matter of time.
I think so. Well, I tell you what, no, the heart, as always, whenever one of my boys is fighting, period. I was right with the George Groves pick. My heart was right with that. But Eubanks Jr. got exposed, and that's a different story.
You took Spence, didn't you?
I did take Spence.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, it takes. But well, like you see, ladies and gentlemen, I went through a period of backing my boys, and they had. I think there was about 3 or 4 in a row where
Oh,
my boys. I had a bad couple of months.
that was
Uh,
that was a that was a rough period for you guys over there, but hey, boxing's still strong over there. I mean, you
so it
guys really
is.
get behind your guy. I believe that if this fight would have been over there, even though this guy's not like a massive name or anything like that, you guys would have showed up and supported him.
Well, Quigg's from the northwest of England. He's from a town called Bury, just outside of Manchester. And he could have easily packed out the MEN or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they do tend to follow their guys. This fight would have been a bigger fight. This is the whole thing. Unless you are fighting a Canelo, or well, maybe not for much longer because he likes tainted meat, um, or a Golovkin or one of the bigger names. Any fight period is going to be bigger in the UK, and I
Hey
know.
man, the WBA said they believe in Canelo's innocence.
Well, I don't believe in the WBA. Um,
uh,
and
but
anybody that's got an interim title to the regular belt to the super belt is just they ain't got a clue what they're doing. They
yeah,
ain't
I
got a
love it.
clue. Well, this is fucking we're on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think the ramifications are going to be? Because obviously it's Canelo. Obviously it's a big fight. He's going to get away with it, isn't he?
The fight's gonna happen. Not too much money involved from all parties. And I'm not just talking about the boxers either. I'm talking about the sanctioning body. Those sanctioning fees are probably gonna be a little nice. Um, he's even fighting for the WBC title this time around. So I already believe they said it's trace consistent with tainted meat. So there's your built-in excuse. If you remember, nothing happened at Neri when this happened. So
Yeah, but let's
that's Neri, and this
yeah,
is
but
Canelo. What you think?
look at the amount of Mexican fighters that are out there. Do you see Leo Santa
Yeah,
Cruz
this
testing
happened.
positive?
Well,
Do
they
you?
don't see your people over there wouldn't know, but an NFL player actually tested positive for something similar. Same thing actually, traces of it, and he was vacationing in Mexico, and that's where he got it. And the NFL, which is the American Football League over here, uh, put out a memo and send out a memo to all the players to tell them to watch what they eat when they go into foreign land.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It's a shame that this is happening so frequently.
I hate it.
Something's got to be done. It's time for another show. I'm sure we'll
Well, I
touch up.
think yeah, we'll definitely do something on that. I think it's all about having a punishment and staying consistent with it and following through with it.
Absolutely. Well, you can't. I don't. Yeah, I don't give a shit whether it's a domestic level guy, or a Tyson Fury or a fucking Canelo Alvarez
It's,
or an Anthony
you
Joshua.
you
If
could go down the list, man.
you,
It's a
you
lot of guys.
well,
Dillian White.
I'm not naming guys that have failed. At the end of the day, you have to be consistent. You just because one guy is in the limelight and he's the fucking heavyweight champion of the world, punishment should be retrospective.
Yes, and that's what
They,
I mean. That you have to have a uniform like X amount of years or a year for one, or if you pop twice, then that's like 2 years, or if you pop three times, that's a lifetime ban, stuff like that. But all these sanctioning bodies, they all have to get under the same roof and come up with something.
it's
Period.
got to it's got to be done. It's even down to sort of rehydration limits and things like that. I mean, people are actually shying away from the IBF title because they don't want to fucking fight with a rehydration limit in. Just silly things like that. Everybody has to abide by the same fucking rules. It's not that difficult.
I think they
Um,
got rid of the second day weigh-in.
they got rid of the second day weigh.
I
Yeah,
believe so.
right. There we go. There we go. That's me getting my facts wrong. But it's you only have to look, and why have a competitive? Why, if you look at the end of the day, if you need to seek out having a competitive advantage over an opponent, you should be in the fucking sport. Or you should at least realize your own fucking levels and stop trying to deceive us, people like me, people like Willy that are pundits,
Some,
people like you out there that are fans,
yeah, but
because they're just
sometimes it's
you.
not even about that. Sometimes it's just about it could give you that extra in you. to and that extra could give you a big money fight. Sometimes it's more just about the money
Well, it's
than it
absolutely.
is about
I
anything
understand
else.
them. I understand the mentality and why they are doing it, but I don't appreciate it in any way, shape, or
I
form.
hate it.
Oh no, and everyone should. I mean, people like Tony Bellew are massive advocates of speaking out that drugs cheats should be banned for fucking life because I mean, you've only got to look at Scott Westgarth. He won his fight and he died, right? That could be on your hands. That could be on a guy that's popping, right?
Yeah,
And it's not on. It's not acceptable. We don't like it. But there we go. Like I say, I'm sure we'll do a much more in-depth piece on this at some point later in time. Guys, I want to thank you for your time. By the sounds of things, it looks like as much as I'm putting my Brit Avenger cape on, that there is a clean sweep that Valdez is probably going to win this fight, but it's not as close or it's not as far away as people think it is. Willie,
hmm
why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, my man?
you can find me at Eastwick Boxing Talk, Four Corners Boxing, Block Talk Radio, and anywhere the fellas need me. Shout out to everybody out there that's moving with us, man. Bo, 2K, all those guys.
Good stuff, guys. If you like the stuff, as usual, hit the subscribe button. My name's Aaron Cooper. I am the host of Eastwick Boxing UK. You can find me here at Eastwick Boxing UK on YouTube. You can also find me at Eastwick Boxing UK on Facebook and on Twitter. And I write pretty much every single day for threekingsboxing.com, guys. So look out for Cooper's Corner
He's
segment.
everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. But guys, until next time.